Spiritual formation is an important part of your married relationship. And sometimes it's helpful to have a great tool to help you along. Today, we're going to review our favorite devotional books for your relationship.
Hi there, we are Dr. David and Theresa Mabry from One Another Marriage. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. If you've never been with us before, we're excited to have you join us today, and we hope that you'll stick around for some great information. So, when we went over these books, these devotions that we wanted to use, we actually talked about using 6 different areas of measurement to record them by and scale them on a scale of 1 to 5, ranking in these 6 areas. So we had an ease of understanding, we had layout and content, biblical, theological, spiritual formation, relatable illustrations. I mean, you got to be able to relate
Absolutely.
To what's happening.
Yep.
Application.
That's right.
That
you
was
have
another
to be
big
able
one.
to apply what's said.
Right. So we wanted to see if the authors were giving any type of application, whether in questions or just a prompt to do with your significant other. And finally, the last one was a cost value. So we really wanted to look and say, okay, how much would this devotional cost? Would we use it? Would we recommend it? Would we purchase it for someone else? So those were the 6 areas that we scaled and scored on.
And of course, cost measurement, we actually looked at the back of a book.
Yeah.
And then we also, because that price was different from what you found on Amazon, which we found the best prices on Amazon. And we'll put a link for every one of these books in the description below.
Right.
And you can go find them for yourself and purchase those if you'd like, if you find something that we cover that you actually enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into it here. Now, we actually chose 8 books total. 3 of those books are for dating or engaged couples, and then 5 books were strictly for couples who are married. Yeah. So we had 3 different books for the dating engaged.
And they kind of had a separate category, didn't they?
They did.
We didn't want to treat them with everything else.
Exactly. And so we had Together with Christ devotional book by Chelsea Damon, Preparing Your Heart for Marriage by Gary Thomas, and then finally we had Devotions for Dating Couples by Ben Young and Dr. Samuel Adams. Okay, and while all these books were good and we enjoyed reading through them and just kind of like having something to take away from it, we only wanted to really highlight one out of this category, and that one would be the Devotions for Dating Couples. Okay, and we really just found that this book hit all the targets, everything that we were talking about in those 6 areas of measurement.
All 6 categories, and we did a scale 1 to 5.
We did.
5 being it hit the mark big time. 3 is kind of like average, what we expect, and 1 was be a super loser on it. And this one hit 5s across the board.
It hit 5s across the board on it, and really, what I appreciated about it was it was a week-long study. So if you've never done devotions before, they have a variety of formats, but this one in particular was broken down into 9 different areas. So basically you could do 9 weeks of study, or if you needed to extend it, you could extend that out as well. But each individual would do a daily reading on their own and I'm not talking like only reading in the Bible, but a daily reading, and then you would come together on Saturday or whatever day worked best, but a 5-day individual read, come together as a couple, and had a lot of great questions for discussion, and then on Sunday was the day to attend church and discuss the sermon. So really it hit a lot on everything, and very good illustrations, a lot of great scripture, and prayer as well.
We have a lot of couples that are dating that ask about, hey, what devotion can we do? This one we would highly recommend, right? We would say that if you're a dating couple, this is great because there is a difference between dating devotions and married couple devotions, and so it's good to find something for dating a couple.
And these two authors have co-authored a couple of different books as well, and one of their strong suggestions is if you're a dating couple that's looking to the future, looking to be engaged, looking to be married, this would be a good choice. If you're just beginning dating each other, probably not the depth that you want to get into.
Now, married couples, hold and hang with us just 30 more seconds on this one. And that is, I just want to highlight Preparing for Your Marriage by Gary Thomas. This is really good, and specifically for engaged couples. And what I liked about it was it ends with the day of your wedding. You would kind of build up 30 devotions together, and then the last day, there's a devotion specifically for the husband, and then one specifically for the wife.
Right.
So for engaged couples, this is a good one. And then the third one that we mentioned, we really, if you want to grab a hold of it, great, but we weren't overly impressed with it. It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. It wasn't something, in comparison to the other two, though, we definitely found the other two to have more depth to them. Illustrations were good and relatable, but just not quite the deep dive that your relationship might need. So.
Okay, married couples, are you ready? We're going to go through these 5 books from the lowest score to the best score. So it would be, we're going to end with what our favorite was and what we would recommend for everybody. But we probably have to say that of all these, we probably wouldn't turn down any of them. We would say that
they were all
5 would be well worth getting, and there is a difference between each one of them. So let's just walk through each one, and I'll do the first one, and that is, we want to say Devotions for a Sacred Marriage by Gary Thomas. Gary Thomas wrote a book called Sacred Marriage. It's a very good book, and it was part of our part of our review of books. That's right, that we recommended, and we'll recommend. This is a devotion that comes off of this, and so we would recommend this one. It's good. It's not the best of the 5, but it is. It's worth grabbing. What it is it's a weekly devotional. And it's really, we found the downfall of this one is it didn't have a lot of application to it. Good story. It's like reading just a chapter book together.
Right. The next one would be a couple's devotional, #Staymarried. So once again, another great book, great read. It is also set up as a week, 52 different chapters in it for 52 weeks in the year. And what really, this one didn't score quite as high with us was once again with some of the biblical, theological, spiritual formation. While the content was good, it had relatable illustrations, it did have a good practical application, whether it was in discussion questions or prayer time or something like that. There were some verses scattered throughout and thrown within, but it wasn't, I don't know, not as strong as maybe our top 3 that we're going to be sharing here with you. But once again, a great one by Michelle Peterson. So
blogger Michelle Peterson.
Yeah.
And it wasn't awful with the biblical theological, probably average.
Average.
And that took its score down a little bit with our highly scientific method.
Amongst the ones that we chose. I mean, granted, you could get on and there's just a gob of different devotional books out there. We just happened to pull 8. And that's what we went with.
That's right. And so our next one, our middle of the road one, is actually a very good one. Love Dare by the Kendrick brothers. And you see, Love Dare was a movie. There was a book behind it before, and then it turned into a devotional. This one impressed us on many categories across the board.
Right.
And it's probably its biggest challenge first. We'll get this one out of the way. And then its ease and layout was a little bit of a challenge at first, but it is a daily devotional.
Yep.
And it covers a scripture, it covers a story, one devotion per page, and then a prayer. But we loved the appendices in the back.
Yeah.
That it had multiples, like how to do a devotion, how to pray, this was really powerful for spiritual formation. We were very impressed with the Love Dare devotional when it came to the biblical, theological, spiritual formation content. And you won't be disappointed, especially its daily format.
Yeah. And it's a very short excerpt. As you can see, it's a tiny book, which also means it has tiny print.
That's right.
Which could be a deterrent for some people, but I would challenge you to, possibly take the dare and get the Love Dare book. just for that. But once again, great book. And like David said, the appendices at the back really kind of like, that was the home run, because it gave you a layout for all kinds of things. Plus it had an extra appendix for 20 questions, also just some preparing to be married, marital questions as well. So just had a lot wrapped up in its tiny little book form.
Several of these, by the way, would make perfect gifts. They all would make really good gifts, but there's some that are built. You know what a gift book kind of looks like, right? It's like this is a hardcover. It's a really good one, and as well as Sacred Marriage was built like that, and then our top choice is going to be like that as well. But just for gift books, it's a good one as well.
Right. Okay. The second one would be,
second place.
Second place, yeah, not second one. Second place would be this little guy, 52 Uncommon Dates. Now this one was fun.
This was a lot of fun. We like this a lot.
Yeah. So the author of this one is Randy Southern, and he's done a lot of other, I think he's done like a 52 family date book as well. But Gary Chapman does the foreword to this, and it's based off of Gary Chapman's 5 love languages, right? So he takes 52 different kinds of dates, everything from the hiking date to the dancing date to the food pantry date to the memory lane date. I mean, you name it, he thought of it, right? And the idea is that you would actually use this in a week format, okay? And the way he broke it down was he has you like setting the scene. So he wants to give preparation for the date. Then there was a category of making it to happen. Finally, there was a finish strong. Then there was a mind your language, and the mind your language always talks about one of the specific love languages, right? So the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman, each date hits upon one of those, and he gave you an example of that. Then there was a section that was called Take It to God. So that actually was more like application with what you were doing with the date. And then finally there was a Dig Deep, where each date there's like an extra like 5 or 6 different scripture passages or references to go to, which once again the onus goes to the couple to just go ahead and follow through with that. But what a great way to just have more discussion and more kind of like biblical basis for having fun and why we're doing the things we're doing, and to create that intimacy as a couple, right? So really cool, 52 uncommon dates.
We really like the fact that some of these had a weekly format and some of them had a daily format. And so it just so happens that our top 2 have a weekly format of what Theresa just covered in the 52 uncommon dates. And then our final one, our number 1 book that we scored out and that we were really impressed with, is Tim Keller and Kathy Keller's The Meaning of Marriage devotional. We really like this all around in every category. It had a biblical and theological depth. It was a wonderful layout. It had some practical application when it comes to specifically reflection and for prayer. And then even in the content, it gave you an opportunity to apply right within your relationship to take your relationship to the next level and also be spiritually formed simultaneously. So we really liked the fact that they had that content. Now, different from this one, although this was our number 1 book, Love Dare had that wonderful content at the very end of it. And these are very similar, but this one kind of got the edge. It is based off of the book that's named The Meaning of Marriage by the Kellers, and that's a fabulous book to purchase as well. But this is the devotion that's off of it.
Right. Now, we've given you all of these 8 different choices, right, to have whether you're a dating couple or a married couple. But ultimately, if you're really looking for a solid devotion together, the Bible has it all, right? Go through a book, pick a passage. There's all kinds of like study Bibles out there. Purchase one as a couple. Read through it, do it together. When you're doing these things together, don't be intimidated by each other. One person may feel a little bit more intimidated than another, or neither of you are feeling like we won't be able to understand it. But God can speak to you just through His Word and just you reading it and absorbing it together. So don't mistake us saying that these devotional books are great, which they are, but ultimately the Bible really is the best.
That's right.
To go. So and of course the Bible would outsurpass all of these. So
thanks for watching today. And if you want more marriage advice, relationship tips, and be part of this one another couple tribe that we have, then click the subscribe button over here. And then if you want to know what our top 5 marriage books that we have chosen for now,
right.
Then click this video that's right here. It should be right here. Thanks for watching today.